Hello students, good morning to all of you. Welcome to online teaching session of Academic World School. So in this particular lesson of mathematics, I will be dealing with quadratic equation, and in this chapter quadratic equation, we will be dealing with the first introduction of the quadratic equation and following by solution of quadratic equation by factorization method. So let us connect this quadratic equation with the help of previous class chapter polynomial. You must have studied the quadratic polynomial. This is a quadratic polynomial. If I am writing f of x, ax square plus bx plus c, this is a quadratic polynomial which we have studied in the previous class. So now if this quadratic polynomial will be equated to 0, listen please, if this quadratic equation will be equated to 0, then it will become a quadratic equation. So I am writing here a quadratic equation, ax square plus bx plus c is equal to 0. So this is a standard form of a quadratic equation where this a must not be equal to 0. Listen please, this a must not be equal to 0, because once it will become 0, this term will become 0. So we will be remaining with bx plus c is equal to 0 if a will become 0. If a is equal to 0, then bx plus c will be equal to 0, and this quadratic will become now linear equation. So it is very important for a quadratic equation ax square plus bx plus c to be quadratic. A must not be equal to 0, and a, b and c belongs to real number. A, b and c must be a real number. So this is ax square plus bx plus c is the standard form of a quadratic equation. Once we are telling a quadratic equation, then it is important that it should be followed this particular format. So if I am going to write x square plus 2 is equal to 0. Now, is this a quadratic equation? So let's arrange in this particular manner. So the coefficient of x square, this a is known as coefficient of x square, coefficient of x square, and this a is also known as quadratic coefficient. A is also known as quadratic coefficient. Now this b is coefficient of x, and this is also known as linear coefficient, okay, and this c is the constant term. So if I am asking to you that is it a quadratic equation, so what we have to do is we have to follow this format. So here what is a? Coefficient of x square is equal to is 1 here. So this is 1 into x square plus x term is not there, so it means 0x, and then plus 2 is equal to 0. Now we can see that this quadratic equation I have written in this particular form. So what is the value of a? So a is equal to 1. What is b? So b is 0, and what about c, the constant term, that is equal to 2. So in this way we have seen that this is a quadratic equation. Now this a must not be equal to 0. What is the value of a over here? That is 1, that is not 0, and b is 0. So a and b and c must be real numbers. So a is 1, b is 0, c is equal to 2. So these all are real numbers, and a must not be 0. If I will be writing x square is equal to 0, So is this a quadratic equation? In this particular quadratic equation, I need you to answer me what are the value of a, b and c. So we can write this as 1x square plus, what is the form? b into x. So b is what? 0x, and c is also not there, constant term. So plus 0 is equal to 0. So yes, this is of course a quadratic equation. So what is a? A is 1, b is 0 and c is 0. So yes, x square is equal to 0 is a quadratic equation. So let's form some quadratic equation with the help of numerical problems. Okay, so if I am going to explain, let's say we are having a rectangle and length of the rectangle, say at 1 more than the breadth of the rectangle. Say this is a rectangle. Let's say length of the rectangle is 1 more than the breadth of the rectangle. So let's say the breadth be x. Okay, let's say the breadth be x unit and the length is 1 more than the breadth. So this is 1 more than, so this will be x plus 1 unit. So this will be x plus 1 unit. Okay, now it is given that area of this particular rectangle is equal to say 12 square unit. It is given. So area of this, say this is 12 square unit square is given to us. So now this particular numeric method we are going to solve, we are going to form a quadratic equation with this particular problem. So what is area? Area is equal to length into breadth. Area of rectangle is length into breadth. So what is area? That is 12 square unit. And what is length? That we are having x plus 1 and the breadth is x. Okay, so now this will be 12. I am going to solve this, evaluate this. So x will be multiplied with this x. So it will become x square and then plus 1 into this x, it will be x. Okay. So now I am going to form a quadratic equation. If I am going to transfer this 12 this side, it will become now x square plus x minus 12 is equal to 0. So this is a particular quadratic equation which we have formed with the help of given problem. Given word problem were there, and we have solved this particular word problem and we have formed a particular quadratic equation. Now the thing is, we have to find the length and breadth of this particular rectangle, which we will be dealing with the solution of quadratic equation method. So once I am writing this quadratic equation x square plus x minus 12, I will be solving this in the solution of quadratic equation. Now I need to solve some question which will be dealing with whether the following equations are quadratic or not. So let me write that particular question in which we will be dealing with. We have to solve and we have to get the particular form. That is what was the form? That was ax square plus bx plus c is equal to 0. If you will be getting this form, we can say yes, the equation is quadratic. Suppose I am writing x plus 1 whole square is equal to x plus 1 into x minus 1. Okay, so this is an equation. We need to check whether this equation is quadratic or not. So what we have to do is, we have to solve this particular equation and we have to get this form. If I will be getting this form, then of course this is a quadratic equation. If not, then it will not be a quadratic. So I am going to expand this with the help of formula a plus b whole square. So it will be a square means x square plus 2 into a into b, 2ab, then plus b square means 1 square. Okay, then this is a plus b into a minus b. So it will be x square a square minus b square. So this is a square minus b square. So now x square plus 2x plus 1 is equal to x square minus 1. Okay, so this x square will be cancelled with x square. So now we have 2x plus 1 and this is minus 1. Once I am going to transfer this minus this side, it will become 2x plus 1 is equal to 0, and this is 2x plus 2 is equal to 0. So this is not a quadratic. Why this is not a quadratic? Because this is not in this particular form. Okay? Because we are not having a must be there, because a is called a quadratic coefficient. If a is not there, it will not be a quadratic equation here. So therefore this equation is a linear equation. This equation is a linear equation. Okay? So now I am going to write some more question in which we have to identify whether the equation is quadratic or not. So if I will be writing, listen, x plus 1 upon x, very important, is equal to, say I am writing 2. Listen all of you, यहाँ पे ध्यान से देखिए, this is x plus 1 upon x is equal to 2. Now what I have to do is, I have to solve this equation and I have to get the simplified form. And once the simplified form will be in the form of ax square plus bx plus c, then we can say yes, it is a quadratic. Otherwise it is not a quadratic. So this is x square. Okay, what we have to do is, I am going to multiply the equation both sides with x. Okay, I am going to multiply because I don't need the variable in the denominator. So therefore I am going to multiply by x. So it will be x square, and if I am going to multiply this by x, it will become 1. Okay, and then this is, if I am going to multiply, we have to do justice to both the sides. If I am multiplying this side x, of course I should multiply this side also. So therefore I have multiplied x both the side. So therefore this is x square, and this will minus 2x and plus 1 is equal to 0. Oh, so this is a quadratic equation which is in the form of ax square plus bx plus c is equal to 0. Now I will be asking to you that what is the value of a, what is the value of b, and what is the value of c. So a is what? Coefficient of x square. What is the coefficient of x square over here? 1. So a is equal to 1. What is the coefficient of x? The coefficient of x is equal to minus 2. So therefore b is equal to minus 2. Okay. So constant term, this is constant term, here this is constant term. So c is equal to 1. Okay. So in this way we have understood how to find, how to check whether the given equations are quadratic or not. So next I will be dealing with solution of quadratic equation by factorization method. Okay, so factorization method, that is very important and very easiest method of this chapter is factorization method. Okay, so we have already done in the previous class. So I am going to take one very simple question. So solution of quadratic equation by factorization method. So this is very important for the board exam, so please listen it carefully. If I am taking example x square minus 5x plus 6 is equal to 0, I need to find the root of this quadratic equation. I need to find the root of this quadratic equation by factorization method. So what we have to do is, what exactly root is? Root means what? A particular value of x which I will be substituting in this quadratic equation, and it will be satisfied. Satisfied means both the side will be equal to, it means if I am going to substitute the value of x 1, and if it is not equal to 0, it means 1 is not a root of this particular quadratic equation. Okay, so root. So first of all, let's have a look on roots of the quadratic, roots of quadratic equation. So roots means, roots or solution, roots means the value of x. Let's say x is equal to alpha. Okay, so the quadratic equation is ax square plus bx plus c is equal to 0. Once I am going to put the value of x instead of x alpha, so it will be a alpha square plus b alpha plus c is equal to 0. So if this value will become 0, now this alpha is said to be root of this particular equation. So let's take an example. So I am writing x square minus 5x plus 6 is equal to 0. What I have write over here? So if I am going to substitute x is equal to 2, x is equal to 2. So this will be 2 square minus 5 into 2 plus 6 is equal to 0. So this is 4 minus 10 plus 6 is equal to 0. Of course, so this is 10 minus 10 is equal to 0. Yes, it is 0. So it means x is equal to 2 is one of the root of this particular quadratic equation. But we need to find the root by factorization method. So we will be finding this by factorization method. So please have a look over here. Okay. So now coefficient of x square. Beta, coefficient of x square. What is the coefficient of x square? That is 1. Okay, 1. And what is the constant term? 6. So the first step is, what we have to do is, we have to multiply the coefficient of x square and the constant term. So this is 1 into 6, that is equal to 6. Okay, 1 into 6, this is equal to 6. Okay, next, after this, after getting this value, the factor of 6 in such a way, if I am going to add these two factors, I should be getting 5. I should have minus 5. Okay, the factor of 6. So what are the factor of 6? I can write this 1 into 6 is equal to 6. These are the two factor of 6. 1 into 6, I will be getting 6. But I can write this as 1 minus 6, and that is minus 5. So can I take the factor like this x, okay, then minus 6x. So it will be equal to what? Minus 5x. So listen, if the product of these first two terms, what are the product of these two terms? X square into 6. X square into 6. It will be 6x square. And if I am going to factorize this term in this manner, let's say x and minus 6x, if I will be writing this minus 5x in this form, then the product of these two will be exactly same as we have got here. So now x into minus 6x is equal to minus 6x square. It means the factorization 1 into 6 is wrong. So therefore I cannot write minus 5x as x minus 6x. It will be the wrong answer. So what we have to do? The next factor of 6, 2 into 3 is equal to 6. Now I can write this factor 2 and 3 in such a way that it must be equal to minus 5x. So how should I write? I will be writing this as minus 2x, minus 3x, and then I will be getting minus 5x. And if I am going to multiply this 2, minus 2x and minus 3x, I will be getting, of course, 6x square. So therefore students, this is the correct factorization of 6 which we have to apply over here. So now I will be writing this. This is x square. This is question number 1. So this is x square. Now how should I write, sir? Minus 2x. पहले लिखना है कि -3x, anyone you can write, okay, -2x and -3x, of course this is equal to -5x and +6. What is the important point in this is, important point is the first term and the last term we are going to multiply, that will be 6x square, and these two terms if I am going to multiply this also, if I am going to multiply this first, these two terms -2x and -3x, I will be getting 6x square, then only the factorization is said to be correct. Now what I have to do is, the first two terms, this is the first two terms, take common from this. What is common? What is common in this? Both. जो दोनों टर्म में हो वो आपको दिख रहा है क्या है दोनों टर्म में, जिसको आप बाहर चुरा सकते हो यहाँ से. So x can be taken. Okay. So what will be left? x बच जाएगा. आपने यहाँ से भी x को बाहर निकाल लिया. So this is -2. Now अब यहाँ से क्या करना है? What is common in this two term? In this two term, -3 is common. Okay. So -3 is taken outside. What I have left? That is x. अच्छा, माइनस आपने कॉमन निकाल लिया. सो जैसे ही माइनस कॉमन निकालोगे अंदर का साइन जो है क्या हो जाएगा, चेंज हो जाएगा. सो इट विल बिकम -2. सो द मीनिंग ऑफ कॉमन इज, द मीनिंग ऑफ टेकिंग कॉमन इज, वंस वी आर गोइंग टू मल्टीप्लाई दिस, आई मस्ट हैव द टर्म same. So if I am going to multiply -3 into x, I will be getting -3x. -3 into 2, -2, I will be getting 6. So this is the correct factorization and correct common we have taken. So now what is common next? In this both the term, now we are having only two terms. This is the first term and this is the second term. In both the term contain x minus 2. So I can take x minus 2 common, and then x and -3 is equal to 0. Okay. So we have got the factors. X minus 2 and x minus 3 is equal to 0. It means this is very simple, that if I am writing a into b is equal to 0. बेटा अगर मैं लिख रहा हूँ a into b is equal to 0, it means कोई ना कोई तो ऐसा बंदा है जो खुद में 0 है. It means a या तो 0 हो सकता है, और क्या हो सकता है बेटा, a तो a ही है, b 0 कर सकता है. तो इसमें से किसने घोटाला किया, we don't know. ठीक है, कि कौन 0? If a into b I am writing, so either a is 0 or b is 0. So that is why either x minus 2 is 0 or x minus 3 is 0. So that is why I am writing x minus 2 is equal to 0 or I am writing or. Okay, this is very important that I am writing or. Or means either 2 or 3. Okay, so this is x minus 3 is equal to 0. So therefore now x is equal to 2 or x is equal to 3. It means x is equal to 2 and 3 are the roots of this particular equation. It means once I am going to substitute the value x is equal to 2 in this particular equation, it will be 0. It will satisfy this value of x is equal to 2 and the value of x is equal to 3 will satisfy this particular quadratic equation. Okay, so next quadratic equation I will be taking, I have to rub this. So next quadratic equation, 2-3 more example we have to solve so that we will be familiar with the topic and it will be helpful for us. So let's take another example, that is 5x square plus 3x and then minus 14 is equal to 0. Okay. So now, as I have told you, what we have to do, we have to multiply this first term and this last, a into c. This is a and this is c. So 5 into 14. So 5 into 14, 5 into 14, that is 17. And factor of 70 in such a way that it should be equal to 3x. Okay. So I can write this 70 as 7 into 10. If I am writing 7 into 10, I can write this as 7x, 10x minus 7x. So if I am writing 10x minus 7x, of course it will become 3x. Okay. So the concept is this is 5x square and 3x, I have to split this middle term. So 3x can be written as 3x. Instead of 3x, I will be writing 10x minus 7x, and then minus 14 is equal to 0. So now I have to check whatever we have written, is it correct? So for that, what we have to do is multiply this first term and this last term. So it will be minus 70x square, and this again we are going to multiply this two term. And this is also coming as minus 70x square. So therefore the middle term split that we have done is correct. So now we have to do taking the first two term. What is common in this first two term? 5 is common, okay, and then x is common, okay. So what left? X, and then plus there is 2, okay. So if I am going to multiply this, I will be getting the previous term 5x square plus 10x minus what is common over here. So it is minus 7, okay. Minus 7 is coming. Once I am going to take minus sign common, the sign will be changed. So it will become x plus 2 is equal to 0. Now in this two term, x plus 2 is common. So if we take out x plus 2 is common, we have now 5x minus 7 is equal to 0. So this is x plus 2 is equal to 0, or 5x minus 7 is equal to 0. So I will be getting x is equal to minus 2, or 5x is equal to 7. I am writing over here, or x is equal to 7 upon 5. So x is equal to 7 upon 5. It means for this particular equation, x is equal to minus 2 or x is equal to 7 upon 5 are the roots of this quadratic equation. So we have solved the quadratic equation by the factorization method. In the next class, we will be solving the quadratic equation by formula method, and the next method is completing square method, okay. So in the next class I will be solving this. So I am going to recap this full lesson from the starting, that what we have learned till now. हमने क्या सीखा आज, okay? हमने सीखा कि ax square plus bx plus c is equal to 0 is the standard form of a quadratic equation. ये क्या है? स्टैंडर्ड फॉर्म है क्वाड्रेटिक इक्वेशन का, जहां पर where a must not be equal to 0, a b c belongs to real number, okay. So this is the form of standard quadratic equation. So once we are going to solve, if we have to check the quadratic, whether the given equation is quadratic or not, so we have to evaluate and we have to get this form. If we will be getting this form, yes, the given equation is quadratic. If not, then it is not a quadratic, okay. So this was the first thing which we have done. Now the next we have done is factorization method, okay. So in factorization method, ax square plus bx plus c, what we have done first is we have to multiply this first a into c. Whatever the product I will be getting, factor of that product must be in such a way that it should become b, okay. So these are the things which we have studied in this chapter. So the lesson, the assignment will be uploaded, okay. Assignment will be uploaded in ERP. So please solve the assignment, okay. Thank you for watching the video.